Hi everybody, so I am going to do a little kind of experimentation and technique video on embossing folders, and I've not really used embossing folders before. I don't tend to use them in my mixed media work and things, but this month I have these two gorgeous ones from Do Crafts. This one is called Moroccan Star pattern, which I just love. That really appeals to me, that kind of architectural sort of deco art design, and this one is called Folk Florals, also kind of pretty stylized, which I really like. So I'm sort of challenging myself here to kind of explore what I can do with them, because I really don't like the idea of just putting the card through and just having that embossed design and kind of I'm done. Like, that's not enough for me. I need to explore it further. It needs to work harder for me as a product. I just want it to go further and do more. So what I decided to do was kind of do a bit of experimentation. So I'm going to unpack the Moroccan one first, and you can see it's got black design there on the front, so you can see it really clearly. And what I thought I would try is I've had a look on YouTube to see what techniques other people were using, and I thought I would try inking up the pad first. So if I show you what it looks like just normally, so this is a standard square folding card that you can get from Do Crafts, and it doesn't quite fit, so I had to be quite careful to kind of centre it. So when you put it in the folder, you kind of don't want it to kind of overlap. So for that reason, I'm actually going to cut my card in half, and I'm going to do the experiments on the kind of separated card, and then I will just stick it down onto another card blank, so that I don't get the actual card all messy. So it doesn't quite fit. It's a 6x6, this embossing folder, so it would really nicely work with the 6x6 papers, but doesn't quite fit those cards. But that doesn't matter. I'm going to use Do Crafts Artiste Pigment ink in black, and I'm just going to kind of carefully smush. Don't want to press down too hard because I don't want it to go into all the little dips. I just want it on the top of this, and I'm using black because I really like the idea of using that kind of black and white. I thought it would look really cool as like a super masculine card, and then I'm just going to really carefully lay my card on top, and yeah, see, I moved it, and look, I made a mess. So this is why I'm experimenting, because I want to find like the easiest technique. I'm going to use it anyway because it's just an experiment. So I'm going to pop that down there, and then I'm going to run it through my X-cut. Okay, and this is what I have come out with, and I've obviously not inked up the pad enough because that's come out quite light, and the other experiments that I did previous to this video, they did come out darker than that, but as you can see, you get quite a distressed look. It's really easy to kind of move this around as you're putting it through, and I really like the kind of distressed look. It's got kind of an ombre feel, and I would certainly use that on a card quite happily, because it kind of looks quite cool. But having done a few different experiments with this, I did find that you don't really get a kind of better look than this. It does come out really distressed. So that's kind of experiment number one, is inking up the embossing folder, and yeah, it kind of it's one look, certainly, to go with. And the second thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to try and do it the other way around. So by that I mean I'm going to run it through the machine. Ooh, still quite a lot of ink left on there. Run it through the machine and then ink it up. So this is experiment number 2, which, just cleaning it off with a baby wipe and then drying it, because obviously I don't want my card to get all wet. So here's the other side of the card I just cut. So I'm just going to place it on there, hold it down, and run it through my X-cut. And so that's what it looks like if you just run it through, and you can see there's still a bit of ink left on here, but that is the impression that you get, which is kind of cool in itself, but I kind of, again, I want the contrast, so I'm just going to take the ink pad as it is, and I'm going to just rub it over the card, and you can see now you're getting like a super striking image, and it's reversed because I'm now rubbing on the, so this one is, the ink was on the lines, whereas now the ink is on the shapes, but you could turn it over and ink up the lines if you wanted to do it that way round, so you can get either look, but this is definitely a much more striking, much cleaner look. And if you compare the two, that one compared to that one, you can see the difference between them. That is a much stronger colour and really, really striking. So that's kind of what I did there, and I definitely, in the future, I think it's easier just to emboss it and then ink it, for me personally. So yeah, that worked really, really well. And if I show you some examples of what I used this for, then I used the inking up method with that one. So you can see I've got that distressed look there, and I've just put a bit of black Paper Mania capsule textured black cardstock on there. Did I put it on? Yeah, I did. I put it on foam squares, and then I went through my capsule metallics collection, and I got a sentiment out of there, so you can see it shines, and I've got this really, really cool masculine looking card, which I just love that. And then I had some bits left over from when I was experimenting, so then I cut a strip, and I added some little gems. There should be one at the top there, but it's fallen off, need to stick it back on. And I die cut a little dachshund out of it as well. If I show you the die, this is an X-cut die, a dinky die, and it's just this really cute little sausage dog. Who calls them dachshunds really? They're sausage dogs. So I cut him out of some turquoise textured cardstock, again Paper Mania, and stuck him on with some foam dots, and that is just, again, a really, really cute, really clean and simple card. And then I went a bit further and I used the inking up technique. So this time I embossed first, and then I inked it up with purple ink, and then I cut out the shapes. So I've cut out all these shapes, and you could do the ones in the centre as well, but I've cut out these little hexagons out of the paper, and I've mounted them on foam squares, and again on the black paper, stamped a happy birthday sentiment, and again made a really clean and simple card. Could be male or female, and I'm really pleased with how that's turned out as well. So that looks really cool. So you can see that this die is super versatile, and I really am loving it. So for my first die embossing folder, so my first exploration into embossing folders has been very exciting, and I'm pretty thrilled with the results. So if I put that one aside for a minute and take this one out, so this one is an A6 one, this one out of its packet as well. So it's the same thing again, you've got the black design on the back and then clean on the front. I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm just going to cut one of my cards in half so that I've got a piece of paper to work with. And you could then trim these to be slightly smaller than your standard card base and then mount them on coloured card behind, but then you wouldn't quite get the full effect of the die. So just so you can see what it looks like on a card, I will put it through my machine and then ink it up. And here we go. So here it is, all embossed and ready to go. Here we are. And then I'm going to turn it over so that I've got the flowers in relief. And I'm going to get my purple this time, and I'm just going to wipe the purple over Oops. Just, you have to do it really gently, otherwise you just make a mess. And you can always go back and do it again and again, but you can't take away the mistake. So there you are. This is quite a light purple anyway. So that's what you'd end up with if you just inked it up like that. You just got quite a pretty floral card. Again, very simple, but really nice, and you could stick a happy birthday on there, or a thinking of you, or with sympathy would be really nice, and do it that way. But again, I just want it to work harder. So again, I thought about what I saw on YouTube, and I am getting out my Do Crafts Artiste watercolour pens, and I'm gonna colour in the embossing folder. I know, unorthodox, but I am. So I'm just going to colour in, starting with green. I'm going to colour in the leaves, and these are quite strong colours when they are used as just normal felt tips, but when you water them down they do become much more subtle, is the word I'm looking for. So I think I've done it all, but it's hard to tell, but if you hold it up to the light you can see where the colour is, just about. And it doesn't have to be neat by any sense, because of what I'm going to do next. So because these are watercolour pens, they obviously react with water. So I am going to take my spray bottle and I'm just going to very lightly spray the embossing folder. And this is going to activate the pen. And then I'm going to, and this one does fit exactly in the folder, so I'm going to just very carefully then lie that down and put it through my machine. And before I even open the folder, you can see that the pen has done its work, and you can see on this side where the colour is. And then if I open up the folder, you get this really fabulous, very artsy, watercolory look. And it is damp, and you will definitely need to leave it to dry, because it is, yeah, it's wet, and my table is wet as well, so I'm making it worse. Let me just wipe that. So that, I'm really pleased with that, and I again tried a few different looks to go with that. Look there, I missed a bit, and that's fine, it doesn't matter. You could always just use the back of the folder, get a pen, it's the turquoise one I think, and just swipe it on, and then with a little brush just add a bit of water in, and then just add a bit more colour there if you wanted to, just to fix up any bits that you don't like the look of, or you think need a bit more water, and then obviously this just wipes off. So that's, I used kind of blues and purples on this one, which has come out a lot more striking than the first one that I did. So this is the one where I've made a full card, and you can see I've used lighter greens and pinks and oranges, and that is a lot more subtle. And I just mounted it on a piece of, on a card blank, and I've added a sentiment from the Paper Mania pigment collection just at the bottom there, mounted it on some foam to make a cute little card. And the paper has buckled a little bit on this one, so possibly you might need to use watercolour paper if you're going to add a lot of water to this, but hopefully this one will dry nice and smooth, and that'll work. So yeah, so that was kind of the second look that I did with this, and then I thought, well, I could take this kind of watercolory look a bit further. So then I thought, what if I used different colours of ink. Looking for ones that are a bit graded. So I've got a red, I've got an orange, and I've got a yellow. So here's my thought. I am going to ink up this. I'm going to do yellow on the top. I'm going to do orange in the middle. Ooh. Just make sure you overlap them a bit. Definitely see where that one is, can't you? You can see where I've missed a bit there. I'm going to do red at the bottom. Just checking it's working. I can't see it very well. This one's got a bit dry. Need to maybe add some water to it. And I have pressed really hard with that red, so I have got ink in the gaps in between, but I don't mind that because I'm just about to spray it with water. So so let me cut up another card blank. And then I'm going to do the same thing that I did before, and I'm going to just liberally spray with water, and then I'm going to add in my card blank, close it up. Ooh. And you can see again it's kind of coming through already, so let's open him up, see what I've done. Oh wow, that is pretty cool. I don't have a lot of different colours of inks because I don't really do a lot of stamping, so I didn't have a lot of colours to choose from, and I'd probably resort to using my watercolour pens again if I wanted different colours, because I don't really have any other than those ones. But I would think you will agree that that looks pretty damn cool. Yeah, I'm really happy with that. It looks amazing. So that kind of ombre effect has worked really well there. I'm really happy with that. So that concludes my kind of little experimentation. So to sum up, you can ink up your pad and run it through with some, spray it with some water and run it through to get a kind of watercolory look. Or you can paint or draw, no, colour. You can colour your embossing folder and then spray with water to get kind of more focused colours and a very watercolory look. Or you can ink your embossed design after it's been through and embossed onto there to get a more kind of standout look. Or like I did at the beginning, you can ink up the paper, ink up the folder first and then run it through the machine to get a more kind of distressed look. Let's put that one up. So let me know what you think. If you've got any tips for me, I would love to hear them. I'd love to keep experimenting with this. So if you've tried anything, then let me know, comment in the box underneath, and I will try it out. I would love to keep on learning because this has been really fun. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again soon. Bye.